it starts with the content and the form. I find the form after the content. And sometimes that form is very conventional, linear narrative, and sometimes it's not. I wrote a novella that turned into a collage novella, not because I started off writing a collage novella, but because I was trying to depict sort of internal states of a woman who was dying, and the fractured narrative was what seemed to work. But people seem to think it's very innovative. I don't think it's particularly innovative. I've spent a lot of the past year reading novellas for various papers I've done, and it seems to me they've been around for a long time. So I'm not sure that they're innovative. Just that's the form that found, just like this piece that I wrote for Wreckage of Reason. It was very much like a Lydia Davis-esque piece because that's what inspired it. And that's probably the most experimental thing I've done in terms of just marrying, playing with language with a little sideways story that creeps in. So I just went through an MFA program about 2 years ago, finished it. And even though it engaged the whole continuum from very traditional to experimental, the truth was in workshop you were often thought of, oh, you're the one with those strange stories. I mean, even in that sort of environment. And there was almost a kind of pressure when you submitted something for workshop because it went into this giant book that was published for all to see. You know, you would have angst over what story you were going to put in, because if it was too way out there, you would, you know, get feedback that was not very constructive. And so there was almost like a group pressure to have something more conventional in workshop. And those of us who didn't always write conventionally, you know, would at our own peril submit something that was unusual. And it was, you know, depending on who was workshopping, you sometimes would walk out of workshop just shaking your head. And I think that sort of pressure probably extends outside the workshop in terms of just feeling like you're editing yourself or suppressing your natural urge to put something on the page. That might be the best way to express something, but even very educated people, even fairly tolerant people, don't want to see something expressed in that way. And so I guess from my standpoint, I've always felt that kind of need to break out of these molds and express something in the way I think it's best to express it. And I've been fortunate just because the teachers I've had along the way, people like Michael Martone and Kevin McElvoy and David Shields and those type of people love to see this, you know, and they're attracted to that work, and they, you know, they've been attracted to my writing and have helped me along. But I don't think that's always the case with everybody. You sometimes get with a teacher who just tries to funnel you into a certain mode, and I mean, to some extent, also as I've gotten older, I haven't cared as much what people think. So, yeah. And that's been liberating, because when I first started writing 15 years ago, I was definitely sort of trapped in that, you know, what's out in the marketplace and that sort of thing. And the older you get, at least for me, the less I've cared about that.